Carlton is returning from rehab, Will is hanging up his hoop dreams, and Phil and Viv might not make it. What's good, y'all? It's your good sis Erica Vane coming to you right here on Erica Vane TV with another Bel Air video. We back, baby. I know I skipped season 2, but we coming back with week-to-week episode breakdowns or episode-by-episode breakdowns right here on Erica Vane TV. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn your bell notifications so you don't miss out when I post Bel Air content. We got to keep these conversations going, so you got to be subscribed to do so, okay? If you're not new, welcome back, boo. And I'm actually pleasantly surprised. I hope y'all can hear it in my voice. This first episode was given, okay? And if y'all watch my teasers and if you've been on my other lives, you know I've been like tiptoeing apprehensively into covering this season of Bel Air, specifically behind a little Latina lover. But we ain't seeing the first episode. We got plenty of stories, so I am so ready to unpack it. At any given point in time, drop down in the comment section down below and let me know your thoughts, your theories, and your predictions. Again, I will be doing new videos for every single episode and a couple additional videos to talk about storylines as they develop. Also, look out for my live streams, which are looking like they're going to be on Friday evenings so that we could talk about Bel Air. But maybe we'll move it once the family business finishes up. Maybe we'll move it to Thursdays. Y'all let me know. Would you prefer to go live and unpack the episode live and in person? Well, not in person, but online on Thursdays or Fridays? Drop that in the comment section. But let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? Open up the episode with Will and Lisa, and y'all know I just love them as a couple. I love the people that they are. I love the experiences that they had together. It has been a rocky road, and I am so glad that we back, baby. We here. Lisa is lifeguarding at the country club, and Will is finding his footing, making all types of friends and acquaintances and building community at the country club. And the first thing that stood out to me, y'all, is how differently Will is starting season 3 versus how he started season 2. If we recall, jumping back really quick to season 2, Will started it on Jazz's couch, really thwarted and pissed about everything that went down in season 1, turned his backs on the banks for a little bit and was finding community down in Inglewood, sleeping on Jazz's sofa. And I thought that this was important to point out because specifically the themes that start to pop up for Will in this episode, which I think are going to be pervasive throughout the rest of the season, is him finding comfortability in this new world of his. He makes a statement to Carlton later on in the episode about how Bel Air is finally starting to feel like home, and you can really feel that before you actually hear him say that. And it's very interesting because it kind of feels like up until this point, Will is never really going to not be a fish out of water as it pertains to being in Bel Air. He holds so tightly to the kid from West Philly with the hoop dreams and the gritty disposition, and you know, he's so real, he's so down, but we are ushered immediately into him, you know, just assimilating so beautifully into this upper echelon affluent world, and then also not fighting it internally, which is interesting. Like, as you go through the rest of the episode, and ultimately we see at the very end where he decides to not play AAU this summer and skip out on this tournament so that he could pursue the business opportunity in the incubator with the prestigious MMA fighter played by Vic Mensa. Because he's quote unquote wants to, you know, explore all his options and fully reach, right? It's sad because in this episode, Will is confronted with the presence of his father still being in LA, and he didn't actually make it known. They just stumble upon each other. And then I feel like the decision to walk away from basketball becomes solidified the moment that he realizes that Lou used to play basketball and was also a young phenom as well. And that part is really sad for me, but I think it's so dope and it's so beautiful for them to be telling this story. I think it's sad because Will is constantly running from the transgressions of his father, from the trauma of not having his father growing up. And while I love the idea of exploring all the options available to you, of really leaning into any talent that appears and giving it some time and some effort so that you can cultivate all the best parts of yourself and really get to know yourself, I don't like the idea of simply running from something because it's uncomfortable, or because you don't, or because it's associated with your long lost father and you have no respect for him, so now you have lost respect for this particular sport, or you don't want to be aligned with this particular sport. Not that I think that every black person needs to make it out the hood via sports, but I think that there's something very real and intrinsic about Will's connection to the game of basketball that I don't think should be as easily thrown away as he did in this episode. But again, I love the story of actually exploring that and them taking us on a journey of him doing this, because one, it feels very, very authentic, and I think that it's something that would be great to see people explore so that other people don't make similar mistakes, because I kind of feel like this is a mistake. I don't necessarily know if Doc is the perfect person to like shepherd Will's basketball career because of his like unsavory motives as we, you know, met him and all of that and the things that went down last season. But I do think that basketball is a big part of Will as a person in his journey, in how he has, you know, gotten to know himself, have learned himself, and has stepped into his confidence, and also has put him in certain circumstances where he's made missteps when he's like street balling and all that like got him to Bel Air. So for him to completely just walk away from it, to completely throw himself into this new world where he is finding his footing, I feel like part of it is him abandoning part of himself and trying to run away from his father, and that's just never going to work. Now, I know that feels probably like super hitty and super meta, but like this is part of the reasons why I really, really enjoyed season 1 of Bel-Air, because while this is a drama series, it dives so deeply into really dope layers of life, of actualization of self, of interpersonal relationships. In the first half of season 2, I struggled because I wasn't actually getting that and I didn't see it, but it feels like from the very first episode this season, we are back to that particular formula, that particular mandate, and I love it. And while I'm speaking about loving the series in general, y'all, I just absolutely love how this chocolate ass skin shows up on screen. Like the way that they shoot and light these actors, I really, really enjoy seeing it. It's nothing like it on television right now. Well, actually, the only other thing I've seen that kind of looks like it was maybe Supercell. Completely different genres, but the way that the black actors look is just freaking top tier chef's kiss. It makes me smile just even watching these people, and it's not even just the dark skinned people, but all of the black people on the show look absolutely amazing. It just looks freaking stunning. Now, moving on, because there's so much that goes down in this episode. Carlton is getting out of rehab. He's in rehab for 30 days and he strikes up a little romance with Amara. And I'm sorry, Amara, I get it. You know, Vivian maybe shouldn't have approached you the way that she did. But I also understand, because her son is a damn liar and so is your ass. Y'all know that you should not be striking up no relationships. You're not supposed to be having sex, and yet and still here you are. Yet and still here you go tempting him. And you talking about you a repeat offender, and you think his mama not going to be concerned and or worried that your ass is in his vicinity? Carlton has already shown that he is highly influenceable. He has shown that he gives more about the perception than the actuality of whatever's going on. You need to scurry your little ass away, and I don't give a damn how cute you are, how dope your little faux locks are. Miss Mamas, go and deal with your problems on your own, because you can't have Carlton. And I wanted to root for her, and like seeing the trailer and everything, I wanted to root for her. But to see them start off the episode right, and they're about to get it in because he's about to leave and she's about to leave, so technically they can have sex now because they're not actually in the program anymore. Meanwhile, Carlton, you got to know that this girl's a repeat damn offender. She's clearly not giving no kind of credence or respect or reverence to the rules or to work in the program, which extends past y'all being in this actual place. Like, and then you were relying so heavily on her. I would be cautious, honestly, whether I was, you know, his mom or not. I would be cautious on any person that he starts to rely heavily on, because one of Carlton's biggest things, and how he's even gotten to a place where he is struggling with drug abuse in the way that he has, is because he puts so much power outside of himself. He gives so much credence and power to people to validate him, to see him, to tell him who he is, to tell him who is okay for him to be. And he needs to figure out how to cultivate the self-worth and the self-love that he needs to be able to stand on his own, to decide what he wants to do for him and go with that, whether people agree with it, whether people see it, whether people like it or not. Carlton literally gives show dog, but in the worst way. And it's like, you finding Amara in rehab is just you finding another person, another judge to try to please, another person to validate your existence. And it's like, you need to validate your own damn existence, Carlton. And I want to like root for him. I want to also feel bad for him. Like, okay, he has a drug addiction, so clearly there's something to empathize with. But I struggle with Carlton because he also moves with, or has in the past, because this episode he doesn't necessarily do that, but in the past he's moved with such arrogance of a person that you would think has high self-worth and has high self-confidence and can validate himself and stand on his own too, and yet and still every single time there's an opportunity for him to do the right thing because he wants to be a good person or because he wants to do the right thing, he doesn't. And this is giving more of the same. I don't think that Vivian is wrong to say, like, every time I look at you, I don't trust what's coming out your mouth, because I can look and remember every single time that you look me dead in my face and you lie. And fact of the matter is, you're lying about Amara right now. Y'all are not just friends. You sitting up here bumping uglies with this girl. Not focus. Carlton got pissed this episode because his interview with the people at Princeton got canceled once they heard about his sobriety journey and him going to rehab. And I thought that Viv was like so poignant and so dope in pointing out the fact that there's consequences to your actions. You don't just get to apologize and like out yourself and think that, oh, now everything is going to be forgiven. Part of the journey is actually walking through the path that holds all the consequences, and some people going to turn their back on you. Some opportunities are no longer be available, and that part of the healing, part of the getting through it, part of the coming out on the other side and being a better person, learning from your mistakes, is dealing with said consequences and not pouting about it, not getting resentful about it, and not using it as an example, or not using it as an excuse to go back to your old ways. And I feel like that's what Carlton is about to do. We don't see that in this particular episode, but I don't trust him. And I, again, 100% understood where Vivian was coming from, because as an audience member, I don't trust him. So I can only imagine being the boy mama and letting the boy lie to her, and she going along to get along. Yeah. Listen, I didn't even think I was going to be on Carlton's hit the way that I am. I'm literally going off the dome and just telling y'all how I feel and what I think about the episode. And that's what's coming up after processing it. Now, I do appreciate what Carlton did for Will and going to go speak to Vic Mensa's character. I think his name is Gwen, but I'm not 100% sure. So I don't want to use the character's name and be wrong. Because Will winds up missing his interview for Young Black and Gifted, this accelerator business program, and then the VC MMA fighter played by Vic Mensa comes to the June 19th or the Juneteenth party at the Banks house, and at that time Carlton approaches him and then states the case that Will is a really great guy, he has really great resilience, and ultimately it winds up creating an opportunity for him, but then also gets Will back into the good graces of this VC founder. And I think that this is a really great idea. It just gets a little bit touch and go when it comes to Will and Carlton in trying to achieve things, because I do think that Carlton still has a natural jealousy for Will and all that Will stands for and all that Will is. The same validation, self-worth, and confidence that Carlton struggles with cultivating for himself comes kind of naturally to Will, or has been cultivated enough while Will was young, because he's had to like fight for certain things, so he's developed it. And I think that that's the driving force for a lot of the resentment that Carlton feels. So I get very nervous when they're put in too close of a proximity in a space where competition can be brewing, even if their partners competition could potentially break out, because I think that Carlton naturally defaults to resenting Will no matter how much he loves him and no matter how much he wants to like him and be BFFs with him. Now, going back to Will, I don't necessarily love the idea of him quitting AAU and throwing himself into this business opportunity, but it's a lesson. I mean, it's an opportunity that's going to ultimately yield a lesson, and maybe, they build a big ass business from it. Again, I mentioned this at the start, but I feel like Will is running from his father and from the trauma that his father has caused, and I'm so looking forward to seeing Lou and Will interact more this season. When I tell y'all, I stopped breathing for most of the scenes with Will and Lou. I just was holding my breath on the edge of my seat, like, oh my God, what's going to happen? I feel like this dynamic, and specifically watching these two characters interact, is going to be just so impactful to so many Black men watching. And I love that for y'all. The emotions, the frustration, the anger, the love, that is so clearly communicated in all of the words and the looks, the non-verbal and verbal communication. It's truly incredible. And I'm struggling with the Lou character, because while I understand him not speaking up because he wants to get on the right path and like set himself up, you stumble across your son at a damn carry out, and then you don't reach out after that, only for him to come looking for you and see that you are set up quite nicely. You're basically a coward, honestly, and you have been avoiding this moment. You're talking about God didn't force it. No, this is just was always going to happen, because Will is at some point connected to some of like the hood in black spaces, specifically in the LA area. And I say that I want to root for Lou, and I want him and Will to have a relationship, but the parts that I struggle with Lou is his short-sightedness and his ego. I love him making the correlation of some things that's in him, like the basketball ability, and that was passed down to Will. Okay, cool. But like sowing the seed of like Will getting too comfortable and taking handouts. Yes, there's something to say about that, but it feels a lot like the same storyline that we got over All American when Spencer went to go live with Billy Baker and took the allowance money, but didn't want to take the allowance money and all of that. And it's just like, yes, it's a handout, but kids from the hood who don't necessarily have something deserve a handout too, because guess what? Hilary has had handouts. Carlton has had handouts. Actually, their whole lives are handouts, but y'all don't call it handouts because it's their damn parents actually just handing them additional opportunities, money, and additional resources. So who are you to say that Will shouldn't capitalize off of the proximity that he has to wealth, that he shouldn't benefit off of additional resources, additional money? I think that there's something to be said about, staying grounded and remaining humble in those spaces and not allowing the money and the access to corrupt you. But I also don't think that you should struggle for the sake of struggling, specifically because you're from the hood. The fuck is that about? And I struggle because Lou, I feel like, can't see that. And Lou is a man who seems like he feels like he has never been given any handouts, when quiet as kept, the woman that you got in his mother was a handout from God, and you didn't do right by that. Your son was a handout from God, and you ain't do right by that. So I hear Lou, he be having some points, but then he bang a left and jump back into his ego bag and think that he is better, or at least positions or communicates in a way that he feels like he is better than what he actually is coming across or actually is. And I'm like, sir, you need a little bit of humble pie, and you also need a better idea, or you need to better see yourself, because I don't think that Lou fully sees himself, which is why he can't fully be accountable for the shit that he has done. Yeah, I think that's it. Now, Hilary, it's your turn, girl. Because I get it, you glowing, you enjoyed yourself, you had a good time, but you engaged to be married, and you only announced that publicly after Jazz gets in your ass at the Juneteenth celebration. You go to apologize to Jazz, and Jazz says, don't worry about it, I should have known, because you're a runner, you're a track star. She gonna run away when it get hot. What? Listen here, I don't think John watches this, but shout out to John from the All American crew, because he called Olivia Baker the same thing. Listen here, when Jazz was saying it, I was like, okay, I don't necessarily know if I believe her to be that, but I would have to go back and rewatch and I think pay closer attention, because I don't necessarily feel like I have been watching Hilary run, but maybe she has. Part of it feels like maybe he has some truth to it, but then some of this feels like it's your ego. Some of this feels like this is a man that was hurt, and now he's trying to hurt the woman that broke his damn heart. And I don't like that, because you can have your feelings hurt and you could be hurt, but don't be a bitch about it. Don't be a little bitch boy about it. And that's what it was kind of given. Now, Hilary, that does not mean that you go and take the mic and announce this to try to shame this boy and try to throw in his face like, yeah, now you said that I'm about to run away from this man, but I already accepted his ring. Now what? Because now what is, you're just proving him right. Like, Jazz and Hilary are going to put me through the ringer this season. I can already feel it, and I'm stressed. Because also, Jazz, why in the hell did you bring this little skinny ass model to her house for this party? You knew what you was doing. Y'all both know what y'all doing, and I hate it for y'all. Now, y'all, why is Vivian not sleeping sleeping with Phil. I mean, I know, because I ain't been feeling Phillip since season 1. And y'all been on my ass because I've been on his ass. But why in the hell is she avoiding having sex with him, but can yuck it up and take little cute ass black love photos for Essence magazines at the top of the episode? I fear that Vivian is checking out. And you know what? I low-key love this journey for her. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen next. I don't really remember much from Phillip this episode, y'all. So y'all gonna have to remind me in the comment section, and maybe on the live I'm gonna have to unpack it better. I'm not gonna do a good job because I don't remember much. I think that he was showing up beautifully this episode. He showed up for Carlton. He's very concerned. He showed up for Will. He seems like he's taking a back seat a little bit this season. He's not as strong-willed and like, what I say goes and I know what's best for you. He's like, I don't know and I'm scared. And I like, you know what? I love how this looks on you. We need more of this. It's sad that this is happening now and your wife is about to, she's a runner, she attracts. Like, let me stop. But that's pretty much it. I feel like something else has happened with the whole Erica situation. Oh wait, the kiss. Does Vivian know about the kiss? Yo, I gotta go back and rewatch because I don't even remember. I be trying to tune Phillip out because he pissed me off and he wasn't doing too much this episode. But that might be why. Ashley, now it's your turn, honey, because I know that I don't know if you in love with little Miss Mary Kate next to you, but I was getting those vibes last season. But why in the hell did you call Carlton to the carpet like that on his little welcome home dinner? Ashley is not playing with these people. She said sometimes looking the part feels more important than what's actually going on. And I said, ooh, Ashley is not playing with y'all. She is on y'all's asses this season. She's on your necks and she's not letting up. She asked Carlton, like, what is really going on? How do you really feel? Because everybody is smiling and laughing and welcome home, Carlton. And oh my God, this is great. Let's catch up. No, cut the shit. What it is and what it ain't. And I said, Ashley, but you know what? I'm finna listen. And I think that they need this. I think that they need a truth teller. I think that they need a light bringer. I think that they need a person like Ashley to call bullshit on the fallacies that they construct. Because part of that, the fallacy part, is how Carlton was able to spiral and become who he was, only to like his demise. We didn't get a ton of Ashley this episode, but we got enough. And she made her point and she made her mark. I know exactly where she coming from this season. Now, the only other thing I'm wondering about is like, girl, you are very pro black, but you fall in love with this little white girl. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see more. I think that might be it, y'all. Lou, Hilary. So many great quotables. Carlton talked about how he built his life on perceptions and lies. Ain't that the truth? But you can't heal what you don't reveal. Y'all better remember that. You cannot heal what you don't reveal. And name the thing. I always tell you, name the thing. Name the thing. I wrote a note in my notes that says that they love Carlton, but they are also still holding him accountable. And I think that is so beautiful to see, because in so many shows I feel like we're getting pushed this propaganda of like, you cannot support somebody and hold them accountable. You cannot support somebody and tell them, you know what, I think that this is wrong. And I'm like, no, that is what actual support and love look like to me. Not just yesing me, not just going along to get along, but if I'm wrong, if I'm off base, if I'm off kilter, if something could be better, giving me the resources and the knowledge or the perspective to actually make it better. And I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there. I hope y'all enjoyed this breakdown of season 3, episode 1. We're back, baby. That's the title of the episode of Bel-Air. I am going to also be breaking down episodes 2 and 3. I cannot believe they dropped 3 episodes all at once, but we're going to get into it. Again, be on the lookout for the live streams and pop in if you catch me on live talking about the show so that we can continue to unpack it. It's your good sis you love to talk TV with, and I'm going to see you in the next one.